The run went up with Zaki, Giga Kick and Zaki, 2 lengths away then to Bandersnatch and Cascadian, but Giga Kick's got a strong kick and he goes home in the Group 1, a big winner. Giga Kick by 2 lengths in the All 8 Stakes.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I'm up and about. It's a big weekend of racing coming up, and John Walter is a pest, and he's taped up. Looks like he needs the black screen or the green screen in front of him. Just put your hand up to the camera and. Well, what's doing there, Walt, with the strapping on your wrist?
Well, no jerking for 3 weeks.
Too much jerking.
And then I've come home and I'm back at it, and now I've had to tape it up. But I tell you what, it works a treat. Like, keeps it nice and firm, and you can sort of just keep your. It's perfect. I
tell you what, you popped a rib on the golf trip. You couldn't get around the second game of golf, and then you strapped up. 3
osteo appointments. Another one at 2:00 today to try and whack the rib back in. You blokes just beat me to death while I was over there.
Well, ever since I saw you last Thursday, I've been crook as a dog. I think Donnie's just.
Well, that's right. I haven't been bleeding on the show. No bleeding from me, only you.
Well, I tell you what, I've had a sinus infection ever since, and I've just come good. Went to the gym this morning. I feel up and about, but there's one bloke down in Melbourne that looks fresher than me. If I got a haircut that sharp, I'd think it would be all done and dusted for me. DK, you're looking good, mate.
Oh, yes, Kitty. The old sinus infection, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right, yeah. Whatever you reckon. Took Jermaine Jr. off with well needed haircuts yesterday, but amazing. Like I was like the wild man from Borneo beforehand, and get one every couple of months and sharpen up, and hope it helps tipping winners, mate. Finding winners, backing winners.
I tell you what, you're not missing in the Group 1s. You're the Group 1 performer. I don't think there's a Group 1 race this weekend, so you're going to have to be in the paddock. But Giga Kick, no reason to knock it. First time, Mark Reed Pearl. If it hasn't failed at the trip, don't knock it. So little hat tip there. And I think, Walt, you found it as well. Everyone lined up. So we pushed it out now, our weekly emails. This is a back Giga Kick. So we're on a bit of a roll with a couple of the models.
Did help when DK got to Tom Marquand and set him out at 33 above for the first 600. We didn't realise that he was going to do that.
Oh, well, if it was ever going to be found out at the trip, it would have been in that testing 1400, was it? But not a problem. So, no, that was one from the old days when I first started working for Reed, and I think something was 1400 to 2000 or something, and I said, I wouldn't run it down a well and all this sort of business, and it pissed in, and he said, here's a lesson for you, young fella, Never pot them at the trip until they've completely failed at it. So, and there's another one. There's another one there at She's All Shenanigans. Whoever was knocking it, the knocks on it were, distance career 1200 off the 1,000-metre race at Bendigo and all that business. Well, sat 3-wood on the pace and pissed in. So, first go at 1200. So, yep, no, it's good pearl, that one.
Linda, she's too good, Linda. But I'll tell you what, Nico wasn't far from the money. It was his tip at 30 to 1 was Elphinstone. It was in a bumping duel with one of the Mar horses or something like that. It's definitely worth following that runner from the McAvoy yard. It was huge.
Up in distance when it can take a position in the race. Should have been out the back.
Wow, I tell you what, that was a big red light run, that one. I'm not sure if it would have beaten She's All Shenanigans, but would have given it a hell of a fright if it had clear room, that's for
just
sure.
The way they begin, you learn to get out of the gates. One flew the gates, one sort of bumping jewel, bit grubby out, and next minute it's last or second last, but now it's got plenty of raw talent. So good pluck by Nico there.
Walt, even you hit the scoreboard finally, Democracy Manifest in the last.
What have I done?
Hey?
I missed. When did I miss?
Democracy Manifest.
When did I miss?
It was a beauty, wasn't it?
What have I been missing
Up
in
the
action
fence,
or something?
Marrera.
Yeah, just way too good. Way too good. That poor poacher, it was off the planet and it just needs bone dry, but I don't think it would have beat Democracy Manifest anyway.
You're right.
He's a pretty good horse.
Nice horse. And then J Parr, Overpass, an absolute beauty. I think you must have fell asleep on the couch. That was the other horse that we had to back.
Well, I don't know how. You're across Adelaide, you're across this thing. It must be all the bloody gear you're on to get over the Hollywood flu that you've got, and it gives you a lot more energy than Decoy and I have, being family men that look after our families rather than watching, quackers and Adelaide protests in our spare time.
It was a classic, the photo finish. You can see just Josh just smiling, sort of looking across, and Paddy Carberry on
had himself 66s. I think he never even thought it was close, but yeah, crikey, good cash day, and it's good for Australia when it's like when Gary Moore went over there with Takeover or whatever and won whatever he won. The role, I don't know what he won, but
Joe Janier, Takeover Target.
No.
Which horse?
No. Takeover,
Gary
the horse.
Moore,
Gary Moore, the
running
he used to run up the straight.
Yeah, so it's good for racing when someone like Bjorn and Gary Moore win these big races. It certainly helps lift it. But geez, they do a good job. I nearly fell asleep. It went for that long, but that thing that owed that Beth, what's her name, the girl,
Ode to the Quokka.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like it was whoever wrote that. Is supposed to put a lot
did
of.
Did Britt write it?
I don't know. If she did, she's a freak. It was very good, but it shows the sort of level of care they put into their racing compared to some other jurisdictions.
I thought the whole thing was a winner. Yeah, it was the first sort of WA race I'd sort of got interested in for God knows how long, winter bottoms and all this business. But that's because of all the drama with the barrier draw and Amelia's Jewel was in it, and Overpass and the Victorians, and then I tuned in and watched it. It was a bloody exciting race. So it was a winner. I don't know what did you say the crowd?
Their timing could be probably better of when they run it. I don't know whether it's sort of the back end of a pretty tough carnival to get sort of top level horses, but the winner. The idea was a winner for sure.
How's DK? He's just built his sort of reputation on maidens. Now he's tipped 4 or 5 winners in a row in the Group 1 races. Now he just can't stop watching them.
He's up and about.
Hey?
He's
parameters have changed a bit. No, you can't just sit still and do. Things have changed a bit this year, so I've had to broaden my specs and things like that. So yeah.
Wow, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I think it was a great concept. The barrier draw probably was a blessing in disguise. Got him on the front page, and nearly everyone I spoke to in my racing circles had a bet on the race. And we're all sort of still there watching. But the best thing was the time. I know that you sort of missed it and had a bit of an air swing, Walt, but I think it was like 10 to 6. It was still in a relatively good time period rather than some of those other Perth races.
Super Mario Brothers was on it,
7:30, 8 o'clock. Hey?
Super Mario Brothers movie, I was on it by that stage.
You're such a dot ball. Walt's gone to, where'd you go, Detroit, and you sat there watching Harry Potter in your room rather than go out and drink.
Walking around the streets of Detroit or watching Harry Potter, I know what you'd be doing too.
Well, no, if DK was with me in Detroit, I'll tell you what, we wouldn't be in the hotel room watching Harry Potter.
There was no DK anywhere around me. I tell you what, if they had a lot better tans than DK, but
Jesus
I was ducking and weaving.
Good concept, and it just goes to show you don't have to spend $15 million on the race. They'll still go over there for $2 million first prize, so not too bad at all. While he's up and about, but might as well just keep digging into his ribs.
Yeah,
we did a little bit of a Twitter poll. There's obviously been plenty of conjecture about Cox Plate, and we are in April. So
is this worse than your take on that 30 length above average being a good ride? Is this a worse take? Is this a hotter take, a stupider take? What's this one?
Everyone's talking about all these good
most
runs
likely
from
to win
last Saturday.
Off there.
Last run Saturday.
Jesus
so
Christ.
Who's the most likely to win the Cox Plate out of this group of horses?
Well, the funniest
thing. A couple of people said Dubai Honour, which he ran the week before, but you've got Osipenko, he got 16% of the vote. Militarize got 17.7%. Amelia's Jewel got 44% of the vote. And then 22% or 23% said none of them.
Let's see how talented you are here. What's the most interesting statistic on that page?
10% of votes to views.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, DK, mate. We're on the thing there. That's how dumb the thing is that only 1 in 10 people decide to click on a button. So that shows exactly. I think it's pretty spot. I just can't believe that anyone could think that Militarise could beat Osipenko home in any race anywhere. But maybe I'm wrong. I think that was a dead set. Midweek race.
I heard the Big Blue Giant sports bet had put the horse at $11 just to absolutely rob punters.
But the problem is, I pulled it up yesterday and whacked it on the stupid website because it's a hurdle race. Like at the moment, I'm sure something will show. I don't know if Dubai Honour's coming back, but he's sort of going to be beaten up potentially by then anyway. They're sort of taking him all around the world. He's the only horse that's probably got upside, and I think with all the new restrictions, it's very hard for the internationals to bring a horse in for it. So it could end up being a Wednesday race itself, the Cox Plate, the way it's looking at the moment.
Well, it's these sort of 3-year-olds, in the years gone by, they were sort of 50s before they'd run in the Caulfield Guineas, and then they'd only shorten into maybe $26 once they were sort of confirmed to go to the Cox Plate. So
taking on the weight for age stars. That's
exactly.
Right.
Like here we are in April. So these futures markets are complete confetti, and a lot of the time it actually doesn't do you any favours betting into the futures markets because it anchors you to a position and it messes with your head and you sort of get blinded by a horse for the entirety of the prep because you've shot one at overs and you're completely frozen on that race. Well, that's what I've felt in the past. But have a look at this race, DK. Free bet, Mr. Brightside, $9.50 at TopSport or $11 Militarise. Tell you what, the $9.50 Mr. Brightside looks like a beautiful bet.
Futures.
That's what scares you, isn't it? Well, that Mr. Brightside in 2040 is like, and he was probably the 8th best run in the Cox Plate last year. That was a messy Cox Plate where a lot of horses should have run well. So
some import will come
and like El Bogadon's come out and gone like a camel sit like this. It's not as if it was a vintage Cox Plate last year either. It was a great race, but yeah.
Okay, no more talk about futures. Let's talk.
You can't bet on them anyway. I don't understand.
They're mythical markets. Okay, prior to Jenny.
Let's talk about something good.
Here we go. Prior to Jenny, you actually are going to bring this up.
So we've got the stewards report on the screen. So basically, Regan Bayliss was instructed by part owner to set a sort of a Rogue type speed. So he's gone. There's a couple of conflicting, data sets here, but looking at punting form, which we use and trust, they've gone 17 faster than their all average benchmark to 600.
That's all average though. That's not class.
Yeah. Exactly. So what I'm saying is it's the horse that used to race very often at Moonee Valley was a horse called the Cleaner, and the Cleaner set up a big speed for Winks when she won, and she put a gap on him winning a Cox Plate. I think it was like a first or second Cox Plate there, but
it stuck up the fence.
17 is a massive figure. Sometimes you see, minus 10s, 12s, 11s.
Minus is very different. Is that above?
Faster. Yeah, faster. Okay. So it's definitely 5 lengths faster than a very fast tempo, I would have thought. But the query with mine is a horse like Pride of Jenny. She has a massive query at the 2,000 metres. So I think he sort of overcooked it and overboiled it, and it was probably poorly executed the way it sort of panned out. But it's definitely a hard thing to do, wouldn't you say? Well,
problem is, say in isolation that is insane. Like it's like they've said it. Me looking at it, it was absolutely butchered 2 starts ago, should have won, and then came out, was absolutely cast after that run and was flat. Then they've looked at it, or the owners looked at it, or someone's looked at it and gone, oh, well, it was better, it went better ridden 2 starts ago, like an absolute whatever that was, ride, and we'll return to those tactics. But yeah, it's insanity, especially like I said, you can't knock a horse going up in trip first. I completely agree with that. But this horse was like gifted the front. The day was aiding leaders. He had everything in his favour. All he had to do was just control the race. And an owner and a part owner, not I don't know if he's a majority owner or what, has given a 6-page text message to a racing manager who's then passed it on to the jockey in the mounting yard, not from the trainers directly. I know this person's pretty high up in their organisation apparently. That passed on the information, but then after the race, the trainers are interviewed and they've gone, oh, well, if it was up to us, we would have instructed to lead at a more controlled tempo. Well, what's that? How can that be happening? That's the problem. And I don't disagree with your argument that owners should have a say in how horses are ridden, but there has to be a one set of instructions given from the top directly to the rider so that there is no confusion.
No grey area.
And like Reggie certainly can't be held accountable here because he's done exactly what he's told. But, was it the right thing? No one will ever know. But the horse went incredibly well, all things considered.
Horses that go forward?
Well, just the whole race, the whole scenario, Prodigy, that day is a shit show from start to finish, right? Complete shit show. So he's overcooked the instructions. Like you said, given instructions to Reggie. Reggie's bamboozled. He's gone. He's supposed to lead at a good tempo. He's gone completely berserk on it. It got me thinking. So Tony Atobre's the owner, right? And he's a big owner. Like he's not a part owner with a small share. I think he's a bloke who's got a lot of horses. He'd be handing over $1 million a year in training fees. Was an apprentice jockey. He's a young fella. Didn't do any good at it. Worked for Colin Hayes. So obviously fancies himself as having a bit of an opinion. And then I thought, well, has the bloke got form? I'm trying to think of his horse in the past. And then it's only 3 weeks ago that he had a horse, Jenny Contessa, exact same thing in a maiden at 2,600 metre maiden at Ballarat. The horse is stepping up from 1,600, I think, to 2,600. D. Bates has gone completely berserk in front on it. It's knocked up the last 200 or something, as it's entitled to. And the race has gone, they've just gone berserk. Then it's come out at Bendigo last week, and he's obviously at Archie or someone said to let us ride it quiet, for God's sake. So they've ridden at midfield with a cover, and it come out and won by 5 lengths. So there's right there. So he's obviously, he fancied, they let him, anyway, the stewards or someone should have got hold of the instructions and been notified that this thing's going to go nuts in front, or we're going to go faster than we normally have. But the whole scenario started, look, I don't mind owners, especially big owners, big owners, as Bart would say, it's $100 a horse, $100 a day to train the horse. But if you want to give me some advice, it's $200 a day. So you're going to have high maintenance owners, high owners who stick their bibs in, and owners who let you train the horse. Trainers get on there and say, "Oh, these owners are fantastic. They just let me do what I like with the horse." Then you might have a bloke like a toe bro who wants to be in everything, but he's a huge owner. He's got brood mares and. Like I said, he'd be paying $100,000 a month in training fees. So
the other thing he does is he's a very generous owner. Apparently, if things fall directly, in his favour. So
Singapore slinger,
he is, and therefore they're going to listen to him more than someone else.
Then there's the whole thing: as soon as he sends the instructions through, and they're taking his instructions, then does he get on the betting sites and start betting because he knows exactly what's going to happen and things like this? Like it's a bit of there's
Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Pandora's bit of a Pandora's box, so if he exactly knows, so having that much influence over the jockeys, it says, he's...
Imagine if I owned the horse.
You'd be in jail forever.
But I would be. But should I be? Compared to this fella? What's the difference between him and I?
Well, 100%.
And I don't know him, but that's the problem.
You've run over a Chinaman.
And having said that, there is just not to... But he was only partly into horse racing, then his daughter died of a brain cancer. And to keep her memory going, he's gone and spent all his millions on horse racing and named all the horses after Jenny his daughter, and so he's a big contributor to racing. But just this particular thing was a shit show. So,
and we're not hanging him either, because it's not him. It's for him to pass on his thoughts to the trainer, then the trainer to sort of siphon it all through, and then it comes to the one person gives the jockey instructions.
That's what the jockeys say. Give them as least instructions as possible. You don't want to confuse them.
The ugliest thing that could have happened is, these instructions go out and there's a plunge on Diamond, not on his horse. Then it gets ugly. So it really has to fall back to the trainer or whoever's in charge of the horse on the day to be the only person who gathers all instructions from everybody and passes on the master set to the jockey, I guess.
The trainer's in a difficult position, but I guess they have to filter it and find the balance, because all of a sudden they lose the horse if they go against what the trainer says.
Well, that's right. And then at Mars, they got the data guys, they got the racing managers, they got Gabrielle Nutt had the text, that Eustace is there. So, and then Baylor. So there's four people involved, plus the owner. There's five people sort of get this text and working it out and everything, rather than, so it's just a Pandora's box.
Yeah, there has to be a chain of command and a pipeline, and it all goes through it.
I bet you Kieran Maher will be onto it Monday morning about that, whatever happened. They're not telling the owner off, but working out a better, with the Tobre's instructions, we need a better system.
Jury's still out, and I guess Pride of Jenny over 2,000 metres.
It is. It's been an enormous run. Who's to say she can't run it rated properly? At her best.
That was it, and it's a missed opportunity for them, because it really was the day where, lead and get a few off the fence was a huge advantage. She had no competition for the front, so...
I can't add any more, but if you want to have a giggle this weekend, make sure you check out the Comics Lounge. I think it's the final week or two of the Melbourne Comedy Festival. So if you miss the guys on the circuit, they often pick up gigs at Melbourne's home of comedy, the Comics Lounge. So make sure you go see those guys. Or if you want to just do something a little bit outside the square for a party, you can hire their comedians. So that's a good little angle if you're you got your 40th or your 50th or something upcoming. Good strategy there to spruce up your party. So hire their comedians as well, or the venue. Today's show is going to be a beauty. Donnie, he's got the same virus.
I thought it was over.
What?
I thought that was the show.
You're talking fast.
I thought that was the end of the show.
They're the highlights just there.
Oh, Jesus. We haven't even started.
Oh, I've just got to tip the card again. Today's show, Don is good. I tell you what, this is a weird one, Donnie. He must be crook. He's jumping off the boom horse, Chinny Boom, and he's going searching for value in that race. So it's a must listen to that one. And he's got a little Tamworth special on Friday. Donnie. Is Don as good? He's on the mend.
Donnie out wide.
If there's any joint harder to back a winner than Hawkesbury, it's Tamworth. So I actually had a quick look, but I wasn't going there either.
I tell you what. A funny tweet yesterday, super multi-man, Nick Cat, the cobbler, he sold his shoe shop. He's moved into an apartment that he bought with
he has
magic
sold it.
Multi. Yeah. No, what? He's got rid of the shoe shop. And he's sort of semi-retired, 4X trading, little bit of punting. He's now thinking about moving to the country. He's thinking about maybe Orange, Lithgow, and there's a third place, maybe Parks, and he was getting some support to say, all right, where's the best racetrack? I guess it's Orange with Tedeschi and
Tedeschi. I was going to say Tedeschi. You could be Tedeschi's neighbour.
Imagine that. Imagine him and Tedeschi down at the local pub betting on everything and multing up everything.
Oh, and Tedeschi like that. Good bowler.
And then he followed up, this super multi-magic man, said that he's going to get a 2-year-old, get his trader's license and ride it.
Literally ride it,
ride the horse. I tell you what, I don't know who'd insure him, but he needs some life insurance because I think
Would he shoe him himself? He'd shoe him himself.
He'd shoe his own horses.
Yeah, he'd shoe his own horses.
Tell you what, if you don't follow Super Multi Magic Man on Twitter, you got to get around.
Good. He hasn't got a bad bone in his body. That bloke. He's going along for the ride, and he just speaks from the heart and just blurts it all out on Twitter.
Whatever's on his mind, he just points and shoots.
No comment.
Johnny Walter. Unlike Mug Punter, you've got your laptop on your travel for a winner to Hawkesbury under duress and riding.
You sent me a message when at like 8 o'clock or something with my deadline approaching.
You forgot the show was on
73 times trying to find something. So be warned, it is under duress this week at the mighty Hawkesbury.
Moreira going there, is he? Moreira?
He'll be there. And the problem is he's such a great rider, but he doesn't know how to ride these tracks. Like he shows himself up at Warwick Farm a bit. So he rides the first one like God. You think, wow, he's just a freak. And then he just gets lost for half the rest of the... He's very good, but some of these tracks just need a little bit of...
finesse.
Bit of finesse and a bit of homework, and he'll get there, but it's just not that easy to lob at Hawkesbury for the first time and understand it.
Would you say a couple of switches? So if, say, Moreira was off one that was fancied in the market and Nash jumped on one, you wouldn't be deterred, and that could be a set play from the stable going, all right, we'll put Nash on instead because he knows the track?
I don't think there's any set play from that stable. I think they just throw enough at the wall that something sticks. But, they're just quality riders. It's good when you're worried about sort of Moreira off, Nash on, and things like that. They've got plenty of talent, talent to choose from. But just got to be a little bit wary with Moreira that things aren't all like if you take it for granted that you know that a horse needs to be ridden a certain way, he may not be aware of that. So
Hawkesbury sounds fun. Nick Noonan's found a potential moral at Mornington. I think he's
another fun joint.
Yeah, it's a funny little horses for courses track, that one. He's horned up for the card. I've got my
He looks horned up.
What?
Well, we've got the inside mail.
He's the Undertaker.
He looks like horned up. That's exactly how I describe him right now.
I've got the punting form hat back on. So Perth last week, I'm going to zip into Rattle Raid, just like Live Boys, just fly in.
You're just hoping for another protest or something.
Sticks.
Adelaide. Oh, jeez,
you know what they've done? So I think the first 6 races are on the Parks track, which is leaderish, and then the last 3 races is on the normal track, which is fair. So, tell you what, racing's hard, and I just don't know why they do that to punters, especially on the big feature days. Last race I watched
at Adelaide, Scholes won it, and I saw Scholes had a horse at the trials the other day. Jesus Christ, time moves, doesn't it? Like, holy crap. It feels like 5 minutes ago Scholes was coming down the outside against, nature strip and horses like this, and now it's got its first foal.
I think Trav and Nico said that Kings Will Dream was running around at Mornington Cup or won the Mornington Cup 5 years ago. Jesus Christ, that's gone quick.
A trainer sort of said to me the other day, I remember this day I was at Canterbury on a night and a Saturday, and I back this week, he said it was about 5 or 6 years ago. I said, mate, they haven't raced on a Saturday at Canterbury for at least 15. I looked it up, it was 2003, 20 years ago, Florum Floozy, Dufficy's colours. Like I remember what it was yesterday, but Jesus Christ, 20 years ago.
Christ, we must be getting old. TopSport Steamers, they got 2 bigger bets, much to your satisfaction, but I think they're both great lays. So Tristan's caught them well. Family owned, operated. The boys up at TopSport on the Gold Coast here with Walton and I. They're in God's country. Make sure you download the new app and give it a spin if you haven't for a while. They're very solid operators, and they bet you once they put their prices up, they'll take a decent bet. Nico, we might have to get you off mute, wake you up, and see if you're ready for the Royal Rumble. But Mornington this Saturday, Undertaker, are you going to go in there and cause some havoc?
Hopefully we can find a few winners for the punters. Yeah, should be a good day out at Mornington.
Beautiful. What's the little photo in the background? Are they different horses, or is that one? What horses are they?
I think it's all the champions. Think Firelap.
Animo.
Animo's not on there. Firelap. The Remus, Sately, Sub-Zero, Let's Elope, Kiwi, Think Big, Might and Power, Media Puzzle, and Mackay Redelva. So, no Animo. We might get him added.
Militarizer picking up all those horses and carry him.
He's over the odds. Over the odds of $26, $11. Okay, let's spear straight into Mornington, and I think the weather's going to be fine. Is it, Nico, for this weekend's racing?
Yep, should be sweet. Should be on a good track, hopefully.
Well, the first race we're going to have a look at is the Guineas, and the favourite is Dashing's 380, Waltz on by 440, Elkington Road 550, and then at $8 you've got Lethal Thoughts and Grand Piero, and then you've got Tapper Capel off a bit of a flop in the Albury Guineas at $10. Donny will be grinding his teeth. He was horned up there. And then you got horses like King Samuel at $18 and Lightning Flash at $19. The replay we're going to have a look at here is Dashing in the white and the red. And this is, I think it's the Gringotts form, isn't it, Nico?
Yeah, it is. I think you'll get a similar run on Saturday up on top of the speed. As you can see here, Gringotts and Loco, sort of the two horses coming at him in the blue colours. Gringotts gets the better of him up along the inside, and then Loco heads him. Looks like Loco's going to go straight past him, but he gives that horse a good fight to the line. This race rated through the roof, about 13.5 lengths above the all-average benchmark on punting form, which is really strong going for 3-year-old sort of off-season grade. And you look back through this as well, he's only beaten a length and a half in the Guineas by, Sapinko and co, and he led them up that day. I think he's a horse who, this preparation, we probably found his level, that sort of listed grade, which is what he finds here. He probably should have won the Morphettville Guineas. He got too far back there, but when Linda rides him, he seems to be put there right on top of the speed, and I'd be expecting him to be doing the same there on Saturday. I'd love it if he led. Outside lead would be fine, just like that race, and I think he could bring in the best form. He brings in the different form as well. A lot of these are through the Bendigo Guineas, where it was a really good day to be on the rail with that biased track, and Lethal Thoughts, Waltz on by, they had really good runs in the race. I thought Elkington Road was probably the horse to take out that race, given he wasn't on the rail. There's nothing in Waltz on by's sort of races to me that would suggest she's looking for 1,600. She's never that strong at the end of 14. She's bred to get 1,600 metres out of Stay With Me, 1,000 Guineas winner, but I thought she was a little bit of a risk at a mile, and then I don't know if I think Lethal Thoughts probably overachieved a bit with the way that track was playing, getting up along the fence. So I thought Dashing with the different form and probably the best form looked a really easy bet here. Linda puts him in the first two, and he's too hard to catch. I thought 380 was extremely generous. I thought he'd be more like 280, to be honest. So happy betting up there.
Interesting one. I don't know. I'd love to see Elkington Road lead or blinkers on or just something to fire this horse up. He can take half a position, but he just doesn't really finish off all the time. DK, you got any thoughts about these horses? They're sort of
Nico landed on Dashing. He's a beauty, Dashing. Even from, I think it kicked off at the Warrnambool Carnival this time last year. Have a look at its form. It's so consistent. And if you just notice then, you can see every time it's a real trier, like it just tries. It just keeps trying. Even when Loco went to it, the other Loco and Gringotts are proper horses. And it kept going with them. And again, I like something coming out of one horse coming out of a good race like that versus another 3 or 4 coming out of an iffy. I think it was a fast run race. So, I thought Dashing, happy to stick with Nico there for sure.
Rubber stamped as a moral, so 3 out at TopSport probably won't last if these guys have definitely lined up. Grand Piero, where will its grand final be, Nico? I thought its run behind Meritus was full of merit for a horse. Maybe like is it a Queensland Derby type prep?
Maybe. I think it's probably a bit too far behind. Like he's only second up and he's had 40 days off. Hometown Cup day.
What about a setback?
It seems it's smells of a setback. It probably should have run in the Bendigo Guineas if it was being set for this race. So, and I thought that Flemington race was also junk. So I was happy enough to be against him as well.
All right, chips in Dashing it is. The other good race on the card here is the Mornington Cup over 2,400 metres. And here's a shocker, has come up favourite here. Barrier 14 gets B Shin, $4. Nonconformist, Barrier 1, $5.50. Right You Are, $7.50. Vow and Declare, $8. Benno, $13. Herman Hess, $13. Fancy Man, $15. Gear Up, $17. Swords Drawn, $18. Port Phillip, $18. Yafet, $18. Kabosh, $19. Nico tipped the last start. And then you got a horse like Aurora's Symphony, Adelaide Cup winner Rebel Racer, $41. And Kimura, sort of back from the wilderness in the Melbourne Cup at $61. So pretty competitive field here and not a bad Mornington Cup field. The replay we're going to have a look at here, and I'm interested to see what you take from this, is Gear Up, Nico. It's sort of widest at the moment with the yellow and the maroon, or second widest. And when I first looked at the replay, I thought, oh, there it is, boxing on sort of 3 off the fence, but that's Nemerian. And I thought, oh, if it was Nemerian and not Gear Up, I would have loved that run. But what's the thoughts here?
Well, he's a shock who's also in this race, whose favourite he runs 4th. I think the way this race is run, it just didn't suit Gear Up at all. I don't think he's come out here to be a weight for age horse, and that's obviously one of the better 2,000 metre races we had. It was a slow tempo. He was probably a bit too far back to really show any sort of turn of foot there. Getting out to 2,400, I think, is really key to him. And potentially this map, he's going to get a very good run. Probably just in behind the speed. Look at his form overseas. His best form was probably over, further. I think his last 2,400 metre run, he was only 2 lengths off Dubai Honour. And there he's about sort of 6 or 7. So I think getting up to 2,400 is a big tick. And getting to a dry track, I also think will be a big tick. You look at his form, I don't know if the wet tracks are necessarily to his full liking. His first up run was pretty good in Australia. So I thought he's probably a bit of the forgotten horse. Just probably maps to get the right run. And I could really see him improving at sort of $21. If I was playing exotics in the race, he'd be a horse I definitely wouldn't be leaving out. He's a shock who's obviously got a good chance. I just thought he was a little bit short given the map, but he brings in some really good lead-up runs. I think he probably overachieved somewhat in that Queen Elizabeth, given how slowly run it was. He was in the right spot, but there's no doubt it's a good form line for a Mornington Cup. This is a stronger Mornington Cup I've ever seen. This is a ripper race. Vow and Declare ran a huge race in the Tancred, so there's just Group 1 form coming from everywhere. Non-conformists really started favouring the Australian Cup. He was second pick. Didn't get the right run in the race there, but he's winning the Blamey. If he can replicate that sort of figure here, he probably would just win. So in a race that has plenty of chances, I thought it would be a great race to watch. Definitely the best Mornington Cup I've seen. Just so many good horses in form coming to this race out of strong form lines. Like you look at the Adelaide Cup, where I would assume in years gone by they'd be right in the race. It's 50-1, Rebel Racer. So great race. I thought Gear Up may be the value. J Mott, Hometown Cup, Annabelle probably set to peak 3rd up. Definitely could have something on him at about 18s, but I thought Vow and Declare probably deserved to be a little bit shorter. I would probably have him closer to favourite than what the market does. I think he might be coming through the right lead up in the Tancred. Had about nearly a month off, but he seems to race well, gap between runs. Had a gap between runs in the Melbourne Cup into the Zipping Classic, which he won at the end of the spring, and he just looks to be flying in his campaign. So I thought he should probably be a bit closer to favourite. Sort of $6 or $7 looked attractive to him, and then Gear Up, I think, is the big improver in a tough race, but a good race.
Didn't really look that comfortable when you compare his Neville Selwood run to his last start in the Queen Elizabeth Gear Up. I tell you what, he's a horse that needs a lot of riding, a bit like myself, but finished off much better than Neville Selwood on top of the ground, to my eye. Well, you got any feelings?
I've got another good statistic here. That's the first race that Benno's been in history that you haven't mentioned it. So have you finally dropped off?
Yeah, I've penned him.
You penned him. So, Morris, circle him in your race books, punters.
He does meet Gear Up better at the weights. DK?
If it had been, I'd say if it had been an average or normal Mornington Cup, then Benno might have been Benno's in the mix. But this, as Nico said, this is as good as Mornington Cup as you see. And I mean, when they attach the golden ticket to it, I think this is what they were always hoping for all along, and getting horses into it in form and good horses. And so they'd be wrapped. They'll be wrapped with this field, and deserving, and probably what a win will be some sort of chance in the Caulfield Cup, you'd think. But yeah, I'll be watching this, and Mornington's not one of my joints, but I did saw when Nico was tipping Gear Up is I love J Mott from good draws. I mean, he just gives them every possible chance. So you'll get whatever happens, he'll give every possible chance, that horse.
He's a shocker. Barrier 14, 2,400 metres. Does it run 2,400 metres? He's a shocker, Jay Walter?
Wouldn't have a clue.
I've got a big concern about that, but I'm happy to forgive non-conformists at the price at $5.50. Drawn Barrier 1, Jay Childs. Happy to forgive one run in the Australian Cup, which is pretty hot form. Cascade and Numerian. You saw Numerian finish in front of Gear Up, and I think he ran, second in this race to Mount Popper. Was it last year? Non-conformist or the year before?
I think it was the year before.
I think Mornington really suits him, and he'll just get suck, and then just push out one run. And I'd rather take the $5.50 him than he's a shocker. We'll back off him at $4. I think that's poison odds. He's a shocker for a horse query at 2,400.
Yeah, I thought it probably should be more like $5 or $6 the field, probably closer to $6, and him stamped at $4.60. Like, say if he was $7 or $8, it'd be a way different story the way you'd be talking about him. But just seems very well found at 460 in a race where, they all look like they've got a good chance, don't they? The top few in the market. So yeah, I thought he was probably the sort of hole in the market at the moment, and there's probably a bit of value around him.
All right, thanks, Nico. Good luck on the weekend, and make sure you check out his Mounting Yard mail pack. $25 a week for Wednesday and Saturday. So if you want his insights, you can get him there 3 to 5 minutes before the off.
Nico, ring back if you find a winner at Hawkesbury, mate, because I've got no hope.
I did have one thought on Hawkesbury. I thought Floating
Here we
Artist
go.
might be.
Floating Artist, there he is. Yeah.
DK's horse.
I thought he was a little bit short.
Short, too short.
Yeah, thought second up, a bit flattered first up at Bendigo, had the bias in favour. Was really big in the Mounting Yard, so I think he'll take good improvement from that run, but I would be shocked if he's peaking sort of third or fourth up in this campaign. So, one of mine, definitely. Same with DK, and I love the horse, but could not be backing him at 460 on Saturday.
I'd like him on a bigger track too. I think his best runs are always on big tracks where he can wind up and use his strength down the straight. So I don't know if Hawkesbury will suit him either, will it?
I don't know what Hawkesbury suits. Worms or something. What does Hawkesbury track suit? Worms?
Suits no one, doesn't it?
Worms.
Good luck, Nico.
Thanks, lads.
Nico is a punting form disciple. They're the best in the business. When we quote data, it's always those guys. So make sure you check out puntingform.com.au if you want to take your betting to the next level. And at DK must be cross-referencing a bit of punting form, because you can just pick up the punting form laptop, and that's how you can do Perth. You can do any state, and you can just bet wherever you like, whenever you like. You can go to Darwin, you can go anywhere. They've just got the data. Singapore, Hong Kong. Isn't that exciting for you?
No.
You just want to be in New South Wales, northern New South Wales rivers.
I just like to be in my comfort zone. The Walt zone.
Scary. Scary.
Tempting bowling. Bit of New South Wales racing. PVL there to guide us. Everything's great. It's all gravy train.
Do you like that the Saturdays move to provincial circuits, like your Hawkesbury, Scone and all that sort of thing?
Not tracks that can't
handle it.
And Hawkesbury's barely a provincial track. Like, it's, I don't know what they've done to it, but it's just cast. Like, it's horrendous. It's not up to city racing, the track itself. So no, not this. I like the Scone one. I think Newcastle certainly, Gosford, yeah, no problem. But Hawkesbury either needs to be revisited or no.
Bulldoze it.
Yeah, it's just not a. It's, if turnover numbers are up on Saturday, there's someone playing. Donald Trump's got hold of the voting boxes.
See, Geelong just got one, Scoot, which is again, there's a good, beautiful, big track, middle of summer, I think, maybe early Jan or mid Jan or something, get a massive crowd there on a Saturday. So they've really thought about that and put it on the right spot. But again, beautiful, big track. We're lucky in Victoria we've got these Ballarat, Bendigos, Sales, beautiful big tracks as opposed to quirky tracks.
Geelong's got an airport. The whole surf coast is absolutely going places. So it makes sense to invest down in that neck of the woods for sure. Hawkesbury, let's find a winner under sufferance, according to Walt, but most things he does is under sufferance.
We're definitely trying.
Okay, let's have a look at Hawkesbury, race 6, the Gold Rush over 1,100 metres. Andermatt's favourite here from barrier 1, 260, Malkovich 550, Thelric $7, a very fine Red $7, Titanium Power $9, Juan Diva 13, Zethius is 15, and Foxfighter 21, the in 30s or better for the rest. First replay we're going to have a look at here is a very fine red, was a good run here behind Kalos and the Bopper. There it is in the purple with the black and the little white snip on its nose. Walt.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty, well, at least steady to slowly run race here. So a good pipe opener for this horse. Has shown good form down the straight, I think. I think peaked, but sort of kept coming, which is what I wanted to see. I think it's more of an 1,100 metre horse, 1,200 metre horse than a 1,000 metre horse, but a perfect sort of lead into this. Key to this horse is more, as long as it doesn't give up too big a start, just want to sort of see it ridden positively enough to get on the coattails of the leaders so that it's within sort of 2 or 3 on the turn. Then I think it's more of a grinder. So it's not the horse that's going to unleash from 8 back and round them up, I wouldn't imagine, even though it looks like there's good speed here. It just sort of needs to be just behind them and getting to the right part and grinding them down.
Mm-hmm. And then the trial we're going to have a look at here is the 11 Foxfighter, which has got, I guess, similar type form lines. Pretty quiet. It's in the red with the blue and white striped sleeves. It's just sort of poking out to like third last here under a pretty tight hold. And it
sort of does that the whole way. The key to this horse is dry. So it's a soft 5 at the moment. Even that's like not ideal. 3 days is where there's no rain predicted. So hopefully it's not sort of super hot weather, but sort of mid-20s. That should be enough to get it back to somewhere near a 4, and that's the key to this horse. Again, wide draw. There's sort of Titanium Power, who I always underestimate when he comes back in distance, that he's not going to show enough speed, and the blinkers come off him here, but hopefully he does have enough speed to sort of kick up underneath Malkovich. Then you've got a Thelric, Prince Invincible, Zorro, Cat. Hopefully they all line up and at least set a solid first half of the race, which will set it up for a horse getting to the middle here. So the issue with this track, the inside's been playing a little bit better than it usually does, especially when rain affected. Now they're moving the rail back from the 3 to the true. So if it's rail true and on pace, we may have an issue here. So keep an eye on that. But if it's normal, you sort of got to get 5, 6 and sort of up to sort of 10 off the inside ideally, which is what I'm hoping for here. Hoping that Andermatt, who was a very good run in the Galaxy, is sort of, it goes from 51 to 58 kilos here, and gate 1, hopefully that's enough to sort of see it buried back the inside, and if that inside is smelly enough to make him vulnerable, and off the back of a fast tempo. I thought Malkovich actually trialled quite well. It was probably the first horse I had a really good look at, but just hoping Very Fine Red tags him as close as he can early, settles sort of 3 or 4 off, and then if one horse is ripping home, I do see it being Fox Fighter at sort of 20 to 1. I just think he's a crazy price. If he can be midfield on the back of a Very Fine Red, if they're coming down the middle of the track together, I'll be very happy.
Beautiful. All right, we won't give Hawkesbury too much time, but I've thrown in a bonus race. Race 7, market only, Hawkesbury Guineas, the Fortune Teller 390, Rosetta 550, Hawaiian 50, $6 Cope, 7 Atmosphere 850, True Crime 11, Hell I Am 14, Sizzle Manizzle 17, A Lot More Love 18, $20 for Mumbai Jewel, and much better the rest. When you look at that market, is there anything that excites you or gives you a little tickle?
It's like Fortune Teller's the horse that I want to shoot. It's the horse that where my phone cut out while we were away, and what was the Matcha Latte was going to put 10 on it, then somehow this horse kicked back and beat it. But that was sort of heavy 10 conditions. I'd have to risk that horse back to this sort of track. Hawaii 50, I thought was beaten on its merits in town. Midweek race last start was it? Oh, sorry, it was 2 starts back, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's got beaten twice.
So it's got beaten twice. No, last start was Watch the Clock. Last start he finished. Yeah, it was Watch the Clock at Randwick Inside Track. I think it was scratched its next start in a listed race. Like it's an honest horse, but not a horse I want to go looking for here. I think he's sort of shown himself up a little bit. Rosetta won on a heavy track last start where everything fell its way. Coates an absolute mental case. So maybe back to Atmosphere, who third up could be peaking, but maybe looking for a mile too. So it's a bit of an ugly race, I think. It's not a year where there's a horse coming through here that you're really keen to find. Probably a Y50 is the one that gets the right run right behind, and Gay Waterhouse each way, it's going to run well, and maybe a big gross horse, he'll strip fitter for that run, but it's a pretty tough race.
Okay, so that's how inspired about Hawkesbury we are. Maybe Mug Punter's going to pull the right rein and totally brush the meeting. But if you want more of John's insights when he's had a deeper look at the markets and closer to Saturday when we know conditions, and then just throughout the day as well, you can get his thoughts via Telegram or the Discord channel. It's an absolute beauty in Discord. I think they've dropped a couple of double-digit winners in there, a couple of the boys, a bit of Ric Flair lair bets on sort of Mondays and Tuesdays.
What are they all there this morning waiting for the Manukau dog prices to come up or something?
Is that New Zealand?
Yeah, Manic. It wasn't even in. Like sick. I looked at the thing, I'm like, these guys are. Yeah, it's just too good. One of them, what did he say? He's having doubles at 3:00 in the morning. Yeah, if you've got some issues, you'll find a home.
Nice and segregated the chat. So the AFL talks in one area, the NRL's in another. So if you want more gambling just in general, you can head to the Racing Watch chat room and go for gold. But John's insights are the safest bet there, without doubt, and tread warily with all the other advice in there. All right. DK, no thoughts about Hawkesbury? You still with us?
Yeah, Hawkesbury. That's funny, Scoot. Yeah.
Bloodworms, I'm telling you. They're the ones that love Hawkesbury, the bloodworms.
All right, I'm going to have a quick look at Adelaide. And as I said before, really tricky if you're betting over there because the first 6 races are on the Parks track.
20
which
runners.
Is leaderish.
20 runners.
So versatile, he's Scoot. He's Mr. Versatility.
This actually looks a bit... I know these horses better than I know the ones at Hawkesbury. Look at this.
Well, I tell you what,
bales.
It's absolute fraught with danger. So in race 6, the Nietzsche, you've got Royal Merchant, Cast, Meritus, Prairie Flower. So that's an absolute nightmare race. Race 7, you've got Ayrton, Saskatoon, My Khalifa, horses like Lord Vadivostock. So, okay, brush that. So I get to race 8 and go, well, what am I going to do here?
I love it. It's like a Godolphin fest.
Mate, this is crazy. Anyway, market first, 320 Renoso. So it's got the what you need form. So pretty obvious there. You got Dual $6.50. I'm loving you $8. Grey River $12. Sweetened $12. Red Zeust is $14. Hellhound $15. 7 Vales. New stable here. Mark Noonan out. Seema Eustace in $16. Press down $16. Lady Dido was a bit of an eye catcher last start. $16. And then you got $19, $20 about the rest. Has a bit of a tail, this race, and it's a bit of a tricky one, but the horse I like here is Duel. And here he is Duel at the Valley, and the horse outside him is In the Boat, which is a tough customer. And then you got a horse like Maliva. I think there's a race full, so it might the vision might skip here. It's not our AV, but I think he does an okay job here to box on. And what I like about him here, I just don't think that 1,200 metres is his go at all. I think he's 1,000, 1,100 metre horse. You've got a horse like She's All Class, sort of savaging the line there. You got Frankie Pino, all that form super. This horse gets back to sort of the 3-year-old grade here. It's third up, 1,100 metres. He does like his run space, so I think I don't think he was sort of knocking up out of over a fitness query there at Moonee Valley, because he does like his races space. But I think 1,200 metres back to 1,100 third up is perfect for this horse, where a couple of these other runners, and especially the fillies, they might be just having sort of pipe openers for the Group 1 Sangster. I've never really backed a horse like Duel. I do note that Nico loved him in the yard last time. I think his comments were something like, Duel's gone from a boy to a man this preparation. So he's definitely sort of bulked up in condition
and a
lot
DK
stronger.
about him in the yard. Bit of DK strut.
No, DK looks like a man today. He looks like all about business. Yeah, the haircut, he's looking good. He's had the clip. So that's the horse I've liked, and just signals as sort of the value there. The Dangers 7 Vales is an interesting one. I'm not sure about this horse. New Camp is exciting. Dry Deck is probably exciting, but it's got 58 kilos. Has to give
1,116 gates. A bit of a sounds barrier trialish, doesn't it? But it's. I'd say it's the best horse in the race if it found its best.
$18 is a very, very big price, but I just think that this camp might run it absolutely dead for the Group 1 Sangster. I sort of did have a bit of a sniff around to see if it was in any futures markets, but the bookies are too good. She's not in the Group 1 Sangster
Just
markets.
not in there.
Just not in there.
So if she comes out Winsby 3, I'm tipping she'll pop in there.
Can you get one of your mates to ring up?
No.
Huh?
No.
What happened?
Giving up.
We just need to find someone to just ring him up, and hopefully they put 50 up.
I think
50
Super
up.
Multi-Man might be our man.
He could be our man. I might DM him.
Yeah.
And then of the rest of them, I thought Hellhound's got a nice race in her. I think she's a good horse. And a horse like I'm Loving You. I thought this horse had ability, but just didn't come up last prep. Not sure what happened here. I can see and make cases for Lady Dido at big odds. Wongo Award is another one that could probably run a race. And then I think that's about the race. But this is absolute D-Day for Duel. I know he's got barrier 18, but there's a bit of a run to the turn here, and I think that Todd Panel's a really good booking, and the Freedman camp are just notorious for taking a horse over to Adelaide and getting them to peak for a grand final. So this looks like the absolute go for this horse, 1,100 metres, third up. DK?
Just because you're speaking about Duel and all these horses with the Rosemont, the Victorian Breeding Syndicate or whatever they're called, all under the footballers' names, Dacos, Mullane, Duel, and there's plenty of them. Okay, so that's this, and looking at the other big top-end players, Harron and all the blokes, so like it convinces me more and more that these people should be paying some sort of tax, because they are having a bet, right? They are betting. They're just betting on breeding. All right, so the Victorian Syndicate, I don't know how many slow they spend, go and spend 20 million on 30 horses trying to hit the jackpot of getting one to be the stallion, which what's that worth to them? 30, 40 to, so they're putting all their money in, all these rich blokes, Nigel Austin. So they're punting, but they're punting on the breeding. So, it's just, that's what, I'm just saying, they haven't had a good one yet, this Victorian Breeding Syndicate. I mean, Duel's probably the best one on the lane, but still, they're nowhere near cracking a Group 1, big stallion yet, but they're going to keep betting, and they're going to keep buying up and putting in their 20 million or 30 million until they can get a result, and we get their 40 or 50 million out of it, so that's how it's working at the top end now.
I think it should be a stallion tax. You're taking a 3 or a 4-year-old horse off the track, so you're robbing us of the talent.
That has earned its, like DK's saying, it's built its value on the track.
It's built its value on the track. That's the asset.
It away.
And then, so every time that horse has a cover, or services a mare, there should be a Stallion Tax. DK, I think you've absolutely nailed it. We're going to clip that up for socials.
Don't know where it goes.
Probably
Don't
into
know
the
where it
abyss.
goes. I should have
But
Walton.
it's 100% correct.
I mean,
there should be a Stallion
the
Tax.
money has to. The
gotta be
problem is
Stallion
it has to be work that it comes back to racing, and that's so hard. But
They are betting.
They are.
Yeah.
And look at the site. Look at that Champagne Stakes. You've got Militarized beating Bases Loaded. Both of them, that China Horse Club, whatever that is, same sort of syndicate set up. And it's a Wednesday race, and it's probably worth 20 or 30 million.
I want DK on a board or on a position of power, sitting right beside Peter Volandis. I want DK, Volandis, with Andrew Jones. I want them all on a panel, and I want DK to be the punter's punter fighting for us. I'm serious.
Yeah, I know they all put in. They all got paid training fees and put their money in, and they have a lot of horses and things like that. But they tax the punters to the hilt. So additional something. I think
something like this.
What's that?
Something like that.
What the hell is that?
Something like that. That's actually a good start. That's exactly it. That's the Breeders Association, the new Breeders Association League Council.
Yeah.
DK.
Imagine me going with PVL. Jeez.
He's got an angry, serious face there, doesn't he?
Very serious about his taxing.
Oh, I love it. I tell you what, that wasn't on the run sheet, and I don't know where that's all come from, but it's just amazing how those things work. DK with the Stallion Tax. Absolute pearl. He's on fire. Starts tipping Group 1 winners and he comes up. He's solved all the industry's problems. Okay, so there you go. Back duel. Reynoso obviously can win, but 3:30 is too short. So that's Scooty's little look for this weekend. Let's have a look at Donnie's best. No joy last week. Head wall. Gee, it was weak. Everyone was tipping it. Cost me a car. But here he is for this weekend. Donnie's best.
G'day, gents. The racing's heating up in Durban, so am I. So I'm pretty keen on a couple this weekend. First one comes up on Friday at Tamworth Cup Day. Comes up in the lucky last. Race 8, number 3, Starliner. Well, it goes on. He's an absolute gun in the country. Best in the business. The wide barrier is no concern. He'll pop it out and try and get in the 1-1 or get in the perfect spot, come down the middle of the track. This horse won a maiden over 1,500 last campaign, then stepped straight to Group 3 company, bombed us out by 2 lengths, was only beaten by 1.8 in a decent fall reference. Back to a lower grade race on the country meeting, Tamworth Cup Day. Looks a good thing, around $2.40. Happy to back that. That's on Friday, race 8, number 3 in Doomben. On Saturday, race 9, number 2, Spiritualize. This horse is a front runner. I think you can find the front in this 1,100 metre race. It trialled like an absolute rocket. It's off a short break, so it has pretty good, pretty decent residual fitness from the Magic Brains campaign. 1,100 metres, perfect. If it finds a front, it's going to be very hard to run down. $11 or $12 at the moment. Looks a nice each way play. So that's the Doomben, race 9, number 2, Spiritualized. The best bet is on Friday at Tamworth, race 8, number 3, Starliner. Good luck.
What do you think about Starliner at Tamworth, Walt?
Well, from gate 14, considering it's sort of not a horse that runs forward, if it lobs in the 1-1 where the big man's got it mapped, I think the $2.10 or whatever it is will look like value. But other than that, no, it's probably the best horse in the race. It just, big field, first up, wide draw around Tamworth is not easy, but I see where he's coming from. Does look very well placed. Just needs to have a little bit of luck early.
The other one he's tipped is race 9, number 2, Spiritualized. First up, Golden, barrier 16, so he loves a wide draw. He tipped Chinny Boom $1.60 last time, and I should have probably got the replay up, but Chinny Boom was held up the whole time. They went really quick, and then it just ended up putting a gap on him when it finally got out. So I can't make a case against Chinny Boom. I think it can measure up and win a race like the Mick Plate. It's been 350 into 290 at TopSport. I'm surprised that Donnie's got off it.
I don't know these horses back to front, but I see 8 leaders, and it's drawn widest of them first up. That scares me, but again, Donnie knows these horses better than me, so there's an abundance of speed in that race, and woof.
That's why I came back to Chinny Boom, because it was just they went super quick, and it still had the class to really dig in and just power over the top of them. I've not really seen much of this horse, but whoever this Clinton Taylor is from Rockhampton or wherever he is,
that's the great man.
He's doing a good job.
Jared Wello's brother-in-law.
Is it right?
Garnet Taylor's. Yeah, it's Garnet's son.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. No wonder he's got a bit of ability there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's had a few chats to DK recently, Jared. He said they're getting on.
Every time I talk to him, I just like him more and more, Walt. He's an absolute beauty.
Yeah, I've never had I blew with everyone. I blew with myself about 14 times a day before I even get out of bed. And I've never had one with him, so he must be all right.
Outstanding. Quick shout out to one of our new sponsors, Simon Zara Racing. Obviously, I've got a connection with Cam Cook Bloodstock. If you liked Shizzle's Shenanigans win in the Vobis Showdown for $1 million, I think there's some shares, or Camericans that'll sell it by the end of the week. There's a half, I think, by Brazen Bow there, and I think there's another Zoo Star there that's nearly all gone. I think that's got a bit of toe as well. So make sure you jump into our emails or jump into our DMs, and if you're looking to race a horse, Simon Zara Racing is a new sponsor of the show. So happy to have them on board, and hopefully they do a good job. TopSport, we're in their camp, and we've been with them since day dot. But last week, Great House wasn't really suited by that tear away. But gee, I tell you what, it's a horse to follow. It was the $125 bet at $41 that Walt was disgusted or didn't want to talk about. Maybe he was saving it for himself. Chris Waller, Chris Waller, Great House.
Just knocked up. It was a good run here, Chris Waller.
Great run. Yeah. Great run. This week, let's have a look at him. Morphettville race 7, number 7, 1,000 on Saskatoon, and this horse.
I just like the name. That's got to make it a good. And it's race 7, number 7, and it's got a good name.
It's got to face Ayrton back onto a dry track. Ayrton's 460, B Melamon 60 kilos, weakest race that Ayrton's ever found. And then horses like Michael Leaf are absolutely airborne. No Name Lane's going to give cheek up in front. And the other horse, the Tab put up $26 about Lord Vadavostock, and his replay's worth having a look at. Last start at Oakbank, it had just didn't get round the course at Oakbank. I'm surprised if Michael Hickmont doesn't win with this horse, Lord Vadavostock. If it's not the weekend, this horse is knocking the door down. He's absolutely airborne, Lord Vadavostock.
Oh, it'll be dead. That's dead set. If Mellum's on Ayrton, it's dead set. Absolute last roll of the dice, isn't it? If anyone can get it to go, it'll be Mellum.
Well, Ollie jumped off it after the Vic Handicap and said it just doesn't go a yard in the wet. And the more you dig into Ayrton's form, I think the time it flopped up there in the Gold Coast, it was over, 1,800, was an awful setup for it. And then they raced it on that bog track, if you remember that, DK, up in off a pretty good run down here. So it's definitely a 1,400-metre horse, definitely needs dry. But if you go back to the Scolopini run when it was first up, and even like the 5 Diamonds run, it was not bad that day. And then it only got beaten a length that I wish I win. So if you can forgive a bog track, there'll be a lot of people that jump into it at sort of $5. But
and he'll get a handle on it because of Jamie. Jamie will fill him in. But if there's any quirks or anything like he's done with Cascadian, finding a way with it, different way with it, you just sort of got a kid to it a bit. And anyway, so I'll be interesting to see. Okay, I'm looking forward to watching how Mellum goes on it.
Be interesting to see what tactics they are. But if he's one of yours, just be careful. Like, don't completely jump off him because it is the handicapper tells you it's the weakest race he's seen for a while. The next one is Hawkesbury race 9, number 3, Floating Artist, 1,000 at 6. I think this might have been just before final field. So. They've shopped overs here, but that's probably the price that you would have wanted to take. But Nico's pretty against it, and DK saying it wants a bigger track. So
that's the hardest race I've ever seen in my life, and there's 10 dual, triple, quadruple acceptors in it. So I don't think it's even worth tackling until.
Is that the new mandate race? That was he the dual
I think
acceptor?
He's in that. He's in a few other races around the place.
Lord Ardmore, Hosier. Wow, that is nearly an impossible race. Absolute disaster. Enjoy that one. All right. I think that's about all from us.
I got one that poor Belinda Hodder had a fall yesterday. A new mum first coming back to, Port Macquarie track work riding, sort of just easing back into it after having her first kid, and hopefully she pulls through everything okay. I don't think she was in a good way yesterday. So thoughts with her and her family, not easy.
And I did see Michaela Lawrence and a couple of people tweet out on racing.com yesterday. I think one of the Freedmen's track riders or staff has got some sort of form of blood cancer as well. There's a GoFundMe page, so make sure you check out our Little Birdie handle. I think she's going to be in for a bit of...
Good thing about racing, everyone sort of does rally around each other.
That's one of the great things about our industry. Great things.
So she's at about, I think, 30K over after 24 or 48 hours, but she'll need every bit of it, and she's only 25, so... tough story out of Victoria for her. So make sure you get around to her GoFundMe page. Just on that, I think we're going to Warrnambool. We might do a silent punters club or some sort of like tipping syndicate. So stay tuned for that. So we won't do a 3-day stream, but instead I think we're going to do maybe a stream or a battle on SA Derby Day and Doom and 10,000 Day. So I think it's like the Scone feature meeting there. So
hang on, it's a Scone feature meeting, and you're calling it the SA Derby Day.
Group one, and then Scone have got a what? What did PVL's got a pop-up race?
They have group race in SA, do they?
The Scone, huh?
They don't have group racing in South Australia, mate.
No,
Stop it.
Doomben 10,000. I think on come on, James.
That SA Derby this year, I don't know, all these nice horses that keep going good, like Loco, and they're going the SA Derby. It's going to be a beauty.
Cracker.
Christ.
Some good horses
What's the
that
world
come
coming
through
to?
it. SA
What's the
Derby.
world coming to? With like 4 weeks out getting pumped for the SA Derby. I love it. I love it. He's a new man. A new haircut, new man.
So,
Positivity.
Group 1 Hunter.
He's back.
All right, so stay tuned for all that sort of thing because, Warrnambool's coming up soon. So, again, no
2 weeks.
stream, but
2 weeks.
we'll definitely do a stream on that group 1 and that Saturday. I think it'll be just better for us too. I think it's a better return. You got heaps better horses. You got racing at Flemington that day, Morphettville, Doomben, and then Scone. If one team or both teams can't make a profit that day, might need to give it.
What about the mocking? Wasn't there sort of something about does the mock exist? You've just put it on it. You just
What
put
do
a
you mean?
cloud over the meeting. Well, if you can't win on those days, give yourself an
Well,
uppercut.
DK's just said it's the greatest race in history, the SA Derby.
Didn't say you could win
He'll-
on it. It might be 20, might be 15 chances.
Beautiful. Final word, DK.
Packing them tonight, Real Alliance or something. Real Alliance might show a side at $5 or $6. I think it's in one of the maidens. It looks a really nice horse actually. It's a bit of a race, but Real Alliance. If you watch this early doors, have something on it.
Outstanding stuff. Thanks, DK. Appreciate you going into the office. Nico's given us very little.
Brush me again.
So hopefully we can get a winner or two out of him on Saturday at Mornington. All aboard, dashing by the sounds of it. We'll see you next week.